Now in our 6th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, this is the Ramble, and I'm Alex, that's what the name says, and we'll be here until midnight tonight, Eastern Daylight Time. Ladies and gentlemen, the last time we checked in with Stephen Pearl, we had to end the interview short because...
Woo! It's one thing after another.
Yeah.
My cat's eye exploded.
Yeah, cat's eye exploded. Now, first of all, let's give him a little backstory here. Your cat had an infection in his eye, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So the vet decided we have to remove the eye.
Remove the eye. Nutty. It was a nutty thing.
Yeah. So then they brought the cat home with one eye.
Yeah.
And as we were doing the interview last time,
yes,
you look down at the floor and you go, oh, there's a little blood down there. And then you look over this way and you go, oh, my God, there's blood everywhere.
Yeah, it was like a Stephen King movie. It was horrible.
Now, what happened, and I would imagine this is what happened. Tell me if I'm wrong. The cat tried to scratch the eye.
I didn't see him go near it the whole time I was watching him. They just said, we took him to the vet, they said something broke. It was a little thing with a lot of blood.
Yeah.
And they fixed, I don't know what happened, but they fixed him. So
it wasn't anything serious.
No, but it was a lot. It was like, look, I never do a little cat.
It was one of those things where, like, when sometimes we bleed and we just do a little bit of bleeding, but it's a lot and it won't stop.
Exactly. Yeah, this guy was, oh man. I go, okay, no, I was panicking big time. I had other stuff on my mind too, and then that.
And you were thinking about you'd have to put the cat down. I love this joke of mine. I keep saying I had a cat I had to put down once. I had to tell him he was worse than the dog.
Nah, you put him down, man.
Yeah.
You put him down. You're cutting me down, man.
And cool, in normal cat fashion, he went, "Fuck you." You know, cats always have a "fuck you" attitude.
Oh, they always have the attitude.
If they could give you the finger, they would.
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, the cat's fine now.
He's fine now.
You said they put a satellite dish around his head.
Satellite dish on him. He's laying in the bed. He wanted to lay in the bathtub, so he's in the bathtub chilling out. And, he was so doped out yesterday. He tried getting off the bed and flopped right on the ground like a drunk. So no.
Yeah.
He went to the bathtub.
But how long do you have to keep the cone of silence on him?
I'm leaving it on until one of us is dead. That's what I'm doing. So
yeah,
I'm leaving it on for a while. So.
They did that to keep him from scratching it and things like that.
No, I watched him. He didn't do it. I never saw him scratch it. But we had
how does he look with one eye? Is it just closed all the time? Is that it?
It's just closed. He looks like Popeye cat, man.
Popeye cat. Well, I said you could call him Sammy.
Sammy. If he hugs Nixon, I'm putting him down, though. So.
Yeah. You could call him Sammy. You could call him Popeye.
Popeye, Winky Dink.
Who else had? Oh, you call him Columbo.
Pardon me, there's one more thing. Your fingerprints around the victim's throat with a note that says, I'm fucking glad I killed him.
Yeah. Peter Falk was lacking one eye, right?
Yeah. Duncan, Peter Falk.
By the way, one of the most wonderful interviews I ever did was with Peter Falk.
He seemed like he was a fun guy.
Oh, I did him at Sirius XM, and we just loved each other. We got along great because I knew everything about his career, and I knew things that most people didn't know about. Like one of my favorite Peter Falk movies is a thing called Tune In Tomorrow, in which he plays this radio writer in the late 40s who every town he goes to, he winds up having to leave town running out of town. And you don't know why until this movie takes place, and it takes place in New Orleans. And it's Keanu Reeves, and he's in love with this girl, and Falk kind of is his Cyrano, teaching him how to woo the girl and everything. And my favorite line out of the film, and I have it here, is Well, wait a minute. I can actually bring it up so you could hear it because I love this quote so well that I actually have it here so I can play it whenever I want to, which is not very often. Here we go. I think it's this one. Here, let's see here if we can hear it now.
Life is a shitstorm. And when it's rain and shit, the best umbrella you can buy is art.
I love that. I just love it, you know. Yeah. But he was a lovely guy. Jeez, I really thought the world of him.
That's cool.
And he liked me too, you know. It was a match made in heaven.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Romance made in the stars.
Yeah. So anyway, last time when we were starting to talk about music, and then your cat's eye hemorrhaged.
Yeah. Oh God. So what were we talking about? I forgot.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about the fact that number one, this cat is a one-eyed cat.
It's a one-eyed cat. Oh yes.
Peeping in a seafood store, which is shake, rattle, and roll, and so that goes back to all the music you love.
Yeah, the old stuff, three-chord bliss, man.
You know, when I talk to you, we talk about Johnny Winter. You talk about all the old guys. You know, my favorite music of the era was anything that came out of New Orleans was gold. Was gold. Sure. Whether it was Little Richard, Fats Domino, and I didn't realize I was listening to music from that part of the country. And it wasn't until I had Dr. John on my show in New York. And he said, I noticed you have a piano in the other room. Can I go in and play? So we turned on the mics in the big studio where the piano was. And he spent a half hour just playing all this stuff. And it was a certain style. And I said, what is that style? He says, well, my teacher was a guy named Professor Longhair. He said, and this is New Orleans style music. And he turned me on to it. And after that, I couldn't get enough of that music. I was listening to Longhair. I was listening to all the people that came out of that era. Fats Domino was part of that. Fats Domino was the poor man's Longhair.
Exactly.
You know, although he was the more successful one, his Longhair couldn't work for years in New Orleans because he had an arrest or something, so he couldn't get a cabaret license.
Oh, he whistled at the white lady.
Yeah, and he couldn't play. Yeah,
poor guy. Yeah, I had to have a cabaret card back then. So
but I loved Longhair, and he turned me on to Longhair. He said, "This is the guy you got to listen to." And this is the guy you got to listen to. I'll tell you what I loved about Mac, as I knew him, Dr. John, Mac Rebenak, was that he was a heroin addict when I knew him.
For a long time, yeah.
But he was a functioning heroin addict. You know, there were these people that do it so much that they function. They go out and do it. Go out and do a concert and so on. You know, the only difference was you'd go into his bathroom and there's blood on the walls.
Yeah. Could have been a cat, you know.
He kicked it eventually.
Yeah.
You know what he didn't do? He didn't kick it. He matured out of it. Now, this is something people don't know about heroin. If you're a heroin addict and you start doing it when you're 20, by the time you reach about 45, all of a sudden one day you wake up and you don't want it anymore.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, it's called maturing out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't know why it happens or whatever, but if you live that long enough, it works.
Yeah.
But he used to carry everywhere he went, and I went to parties at his hotel room. He would have it sitting on a table somewhere, a petrified human head.
Vic Morrow, good to see you. How's the Rotary Club?
And I once asked him, I said, when he would go on stage, that head was on the piano.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And I asked him about it, and he said, oh, he's just, he was some poor black guy, and, you know, he had all these problems, and being black and everything. He says, he died, and I bought his head. He said, he says, I take it all over the world with me, and put it on the piano when I'm playing. He says, "So this guy has been to more wonderful places than he would have ever gone in his life."
Wow.
And he felt very paternal towards this petrified head.
My little head. I always knew I'd get a head.
Yeah, yeah. But he was, I love Mac. He was a terrific guy. Terrific guy. Albeit a heroin addict when I knew him. In later years, I met up with him. He did one of our breakfasts with Bennett's in San Francisco.
Oh, cool. I wish I was at that one.
And he started playing with the band, with Dick Bright's band, classed it up 100%, just changed the whole tone of the thing.
Sure.
But anyway, I thought he would, but he turned me on to New Orleans music, and that's what I fell in love with. And then I found out that the people I listened to when I was a kid, like Fats Domino, Little Richard, who did Sea Cruise, Frankie Ford. That again, another guy from New Orleans. That was all New Orleans music.
Little Richard wasn't. He was from Macon, Georgia.
Yeah, but he recorded his stuff in New
Orleans. I did not.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Little Richard, you'll love this story. I always bring this up about Little Richard. My audience has heard this story, but I don't think I've ever told you. One time I was supposed to have Little Richard on the show. This is here in New York, and he didn't show up.
Uh-oh.
So I called him up. I had his phone number at his hotel. And I said, "So how come you didn't show up?" You know what his excuse was?
I don't know.
"I had a touch of the cancer."
Oh! Touch of the cancer. Like, ooh, oh my God! He had a touch of the cancer.
He had a touch of the cancer, and so therefore I think maybe I did do an interview with him at another time, but him not showing up was drastic for the show, but it was great for my long-term storytelling because I've always got this story about Little Richard now saying, "I got a touch of the cancer." Woo!
Above a hot sea. Woo!
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of those guys were just terrific.
Oh, sure, that's real music, man.
And this one you'll love too. My biggest moment was Shecky and I drove across the country when I came back to New York here, and we stopped off in not Nashville, but the other Memphis. And we went out. We saw Elvis's place. You know, if you ever get to Memphis, do not go to Elvis's place. Yeah. It's just the Jungle Room is just the bad taste. Okay, go over to Sun Records.
Yeah,
and take the Sun Records tour. They take you into that studio, right? And you're standing there, suddenly realizing that every great record from that era was made in that room, whether it was Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis Presley, we could go on and on. Who are some of the guys? B.B. King, Howlin' Wolf.
Oh my God.
Yeah, on and on and on and on. And you're standing there where they worked.
Yeah, my God.
Out of this dinky little studio.
It's incredible.
I don't think it was even called Sun at the time. It was called something Recording Services or something.
It's called Unborn
Memphis Sun. Recording Services. And it was it's a wonderful, wonderful thing, Sure. It just makes you feel
history was made in that room.
Music history made in that room. Boom, boom, boom. That's it, But what I was going to ask you was, because of your love of all this old music.
I love the old music.
Yeah. Is there anybody today that you enjoy listening to?
No.
No.
I haven't heard everybody, but no. I just listen to the old stuff. The new stuff doesn't do anything.
Because, I'll tell you, there are people I do. I mean, I love Lady Gaga, but because forget the silly stuff she does. She's a great jazz singer.
Okay, she's a very good singer.
She's amazing. That's where she started, was singing in nightclubs here in New York doing jazz.
Real music.
So I enjoy listening to her.
Well, I don't tell you my problems.
Yeah, but so there's nobody today that you would listen to.
Nobody I go nuts for. No, I don't follow it, but whatever it is I see. I just see hip hop. I don't see any. There are people playing blues and good stuff, but It's too clean. It's too clean. I like the dirty old stuff, recording.
Yeah, well, that's what you listen to. I listen to my iPhone is full of Frank Sinatra.
I love Sinatra.
Tony Bennett, people like that.
Foggy day in Ronkonkoma town.
And I think it was probably because it was one of the, those were the people my father listened to, and played with. He was a musician.
Sinatra you grow into when you're young. You want to hear rock and roll. You get older. Hey, this sounds pretty good.
Oh yeah, my father went, "What's that crap you're listening to?"
What's that garbage you're listening to?
Yeah.
I remember I was listening to The End by The Doors once when the album was brand new, and he gets to the part, "The killer awoke before dawn." My father comes into the room and he's looking around. He's listening. He goes, "That guy is a moron. You may not know it now. You may not realize it 10 years ago, but that guy is a moron."
And with that, we will close our little discussion for this week. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Alex. Good to see you. There's no disasters yet. So
glad your cat's fine and you're still in your apartment.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, good.
Now in our 6th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Okay, thank you very much. That's Stephen Pearl. I've tried to play that and it didn't start immediately. How about this? Listen, those things are taking time to go. Kick off. Wow. Son of a bitch. Anyway, nothing. You know what I got to do when it comes to weekends. After the weekend's over, I should come in here and start everything up and make sure it's all working. Because over the weekend, somehow it just goes... That's what happened tonight. Just shortly before I was about to go on here, I went to start the thing that, switches this whole program and gives you stuff like that and like that and like me. Okay. And it wasn't working. It just didn't start. And it's because I had loaded some other program in that was updating itself, and I guess it threw everything off, and I had to completely reboot the machine like 3 minutes before we were supposed to go on. And one thing after another. Well, I finally got the thing going on about 2 minutes late. But I just said to myself, if it doesn't even get on, to hell with it, I'm so tired these days that means I just don't have to do the show, right? Right. Okay, well, I think it is time now. Let's see if the Zoom works, okay? If the Zoom works, things can't be all that bad. Let me just bring a bunch of these people in here. There's Jeff, and here comes Brian Neary. Let me see here. And are you all there?
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, yeah, okay. Hey, Brian, what's your wife's name?
Tiffany.
Oh, okay. Because there was some woman, a friend of mine, I got a note from, oddly enough, from our old friend, what's his name? Phil, that a friend of mine, a friend of ours, a broadcaster, another guy I have worked opposite, we're on different stations, but we've known each other over the years, had a heart attack. Had a heart attack. And that was kind of like, boy, everything's working wrong today. What's his name? God, I am just so out of it these days. It is just amazing. Let me see here. Let me go.
You're trying to multitask, that's why.
I'm trying to multitask. I tried to get the show on the air. Listen, you should be happy I did it at all, okay? All right. Terry McGovern is his name. And, yeah. And he had a heart attack. And he said, put about the thing, I had a heart attack. I'm in the hospital. I'm getting out, but I'm okay. So he's okay. But, it's just another person I know who's got something wrong with him. And tomorrow I'm going to my yearly meeting with my doctor, and I've got all this lightheadedness and stuff like that, which I think now has to do with my inner ear. Because my equilibrium's a bit off, too. You know. Anyway, but I'm all worried about that.
Why'd you ask her name? How did her name link to anything?
What do you mean, her name? Oh, well, no, there was somebody named, there's some woman named Neary who was listed there. Let me see if I can find the name at all. Let me see here. First, I have to get Phil's message, and then I have to go get the item. And here we go. Here, in case people want to see a picture of him. There he is. That's him. That's Terry McGovern, and that's him in the hospital there. And I go all the way down here, and I come to the name. Oh, come on. I figured maybe it could have there. I never heard the name Neary before in my whole life, you know. Well, that's Ed Krampf. No, wait a minute. Where is it? It was here. Johnny Holland.
They're on the email.
Bennett,
they're on the email.
Above, and now I'm trying to look and see. Here's Debbie Durst. Oh, here we Sage Neary.
Oh, no relation.
Okay, well,
I'm a very small Italian family that came over here because of some bad stuff over there. So.
Yeah. Well,
they had only one child. We went to only children for a little while.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, I just, I didn't know that wasn't a relative or your wife.
No.
But her name is Tiffany?
Yes. Thuy Tien. Her Vietnamese name, Thuy Tien.
And you anglicized that to Tiffany?
They did. I didn't.
They did?
Yes.
Jeez.
Hey, speaking of Dr. John, you used to open up with Dr. John, right? On Live 105.
No, that wasn't Dr. John. That was Professor Longhair.
Oh, okay. So that's Professor.
Yeah. It's Professor Longhair. And it's funny you should mention it because I was just had my iPod today, my iPhone today on shuttle, and that song started playing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a blast from the past.
It's called.
That was embedded in all of our heads from you starting up the show all the time.
But you're close because Dr. John was a protege of Professor Longhair. That's the reason why.
Yeah.
There's a song that I went around and around with Pearl on some messages back and forth because he sent me his favorite artist is Johnny Winter. And if I had to say I had a favorite artist, it's probably Dr. John. I just think he's the best that ever was. And so we got to talking back and forth, and I brought up the fact that there's a song that Dr. John wrote and did called Such a Night. And there is a line in there, you walked in with your best friend Jim, and then I go trying to take you away from him. But if I don't do it, somebody else will. That's how the lyric goes. Do you know the lyric? You heard the song?
No.
Well, I knew Jim. Jim was Jimmy Douglas, who worked at Atlantic Records for the father of the woman that's in that song, whose name was Anita Wexler. His name was Jerry Wexler, the guy who ran Atlantic Records. And I knew both of them. I said, there's another song where I know everybody in the song. Like, I was always very proud that I knew everybody except for Lou Reed, who were in the song "Walk on the Wild Side" by Lou Reed. Oh no, he was talking about who was the guy in there? Oh, Joe D'Alessandro. I didn't know Joe D'Alessandro, but I knew Holly Woodlawn, Candy Darling, and Jackie Curtis. And so I was always very proud that I knew all the people in that song. Yeah. So I'm very proud that I know all the people in Such a Night as well. And it did happen, by the way. He did do the nasty with her behind Jimmy's back. But those days were fueled by heroin for him, so what have you. So anyway, I'm, again, tired today. I don't know what it is. Marjorie thinks I'm just depressed. That's what she thinks it is. You know.
A little bit. It's the depressing world.
It's just, I'm just so sick and tired of being stuck in here. And then today I went and took a car down and a car back because things are getting a little worse here in New York for COVID. So I wanted to play it safe. I wasn't going on a bus. So I had to go downtown and back. It was $70 worth of lifts. And but that's cheaper than if I had a car and had to park downtown. I was taking the car and I was feeling terrible in the car and I was feeling terrible outside. It's just that it's all just climbing in, on me. And now we got this slight resurgence. Things are a little on the uptick here in New York. We had like 12 deaths the day before yesterday, and yesterday we had 11 deaths. And the number of people, hospitalizations, 70% of the hospitalizations are in those hot zones here in New York. But it was enough to drive it up to where we're like at 1.2% without those hot zones. So it's really, the prospect of being stuck indoors again for another 6 months is starting to drive me crazy. And so it makes me loopy and tired and, And I talked to Shecky. Shecky said he was having the same problem, that he was lightheaded, tired, and he never used to leave the house anyway, but when you know that you can't. So anyway, it's all pretty terrible out there.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
What about wintertime? Do you get out at wintertime, or are you stuck indoors all winters?
Well, I mean, I don't mind cold weather. I like cold weather.
Yeah.
I'm a snow dog. But I like snow. I like cold weather more than I like hot weather. On a really hot day, you won't find me going out. I'm in here with the air conditioner. But this year, we didn't have to worry about that. We just didn't go out. And we still don't go out that much. Marjorie has started watching, started watching a Turkish soap opera on Netflix. And I said, what episode are you up to? And I looked at it and it said like 45. I said, they don't even have seasons with this show? And then I figured it out. It's probably like a soap opera. And I checked to see how many episodes there were of this thing. There are 165 episodes of it. And she's been, this is what she's been watching. That's how bored she is. That's how uninteresting to be with I am.
I started Schitt's Creek. I started that one over the weekend.
Yeah. I'm up to season 3 on that. It's okay.
Oh.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I like it. It's it's fun. It's no harm done.
Yeah.
And then today they had the hearings on with the, and I went. Did you get the same feeling? Did you see any of it?
I watched most of it.
Did you get the same feeling I did? Why are they even doing this? We know how it's going to end.
Yeah.
Yeah. How she's going to answer.
They're just going through the mechanics, and then the Democrats have to get their 2 cents worth in on how unfair it is, and the Republicans have to somehow justify it, which is weird because they didn't justify it in the way they're justifying it now 4 years ago. They just said because it's in an election year, blah, 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 blah. And it wasn't even an election year because the guy who wanted to put this Merrick Garland in was already president of the United States and he wasn't running again. So what does that have to do with it? And I mean, and so I watched this thing today and I went, everybody's playing their part, The Democrats know this is a fait accompli. They can't do anything about this. I mean, it would be nice if there was some kind of, thing they could do to stop it. Or if there was one decent Republican who would say, hey, I'm not going to go along with this. I think we have 2 women, don't we, who would say that they're not voting for it or something?
Yeah, I heard 1 or 2.
Yeah, but we don't have enough, I think we need 4, and then it would be fine, But did you watch any of it, Charlie?
No.
No.
I mean, it flashed across the TV a couple of times while I was watching it.
What were you watching instead?
I was watching. What was I watching?
Ellen?
No. I wasn't. Actually, I wasn't watching TV. I was watching programs that I've recorded earlier.
Yeah.
Like I've been watching that Manhunt about Richard Jewell and the 1996 Olympic bombing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the shows I was watching today.
I was there that year. I went to the Olympics that year, and I think I left the day before that happened.
Wow.
Yeah. But I went to that little Olympic park. That was me emptying my trash, by the way. I keep forgetting.
I've been watching Fargo too. That's
Actually, it's okay, right?
Oh, I like it.
Yeah. I think Chris Rock is doing a really nice job in it.
Yeah, he's not being very funny.
No, he's not being very funny at all. But this is a good role for him because this way people will take him a little more seriously, than they have. So is anybody else going to call us? Or is this going to be it? Is this going to look like the Beatles' Let It Be cover?
Well, early voting started in Texas today, and the numbers are up tremendously.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you get to vote yet?
But they're not all
Charlie?
going to that.
Oh, me, I voted by mail-in ballot. My vote's already in.
Did they do the county only have one box still? Or
Yep.
did they change that?
Yep, Houston has one
They
box.
tried to change it, and then the appeals court overruled the judge's decision that,
Oh my God.
of course, Trump put all those judges on the appeals court. So
Yes.
But what's the reason? Why can't you have 100
they
boxes
don't give
if
any
you want?
reason.
I mean, we're going to stop things from getting out of hand if we, no, let's not make it convenient so that, people can't vote against Trump. Well, people are going to anyway, assholes,
So in the county, county over from us or whatever, about an hour away, they, I guess they went and took all the ballots out and they closed the door and they didn't lock it. So about an hour until somebody reported it. So that didn't help the whole fraud thing.
Well, they're looking for everything. I love it how Trump made a big deal out of the fact that there were like 9 ballots that they found in a garbage can. 9 out of how many million? I don't think that's going to change much of anything.
Yeah, Facebook, they keep showing these videos of, like these secret camera, and they show somebody dumping all these things, and that's so fake.
Yeah, boy.
Crap all that.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out if our president is. Oh, here comes Bree. I'm trying to figure out if our president is going to get sick or whether he beat the virus. Do you think so, Brian?
Man, like I said, I didn't think he would go to the hospital because he's too macho. And then when he was on the balcony, you could see after he took it off, he had his mouth open like he was breathing, like having issues, and he's never like that. But then these last couple of days, he looks pretty good. So I don't know.
How long a speech has he been giving out on the stump, though? Usually he does 2-hour speeches. He's like Castro.
Yeah. The cool thing is the Lincoln Project's had a lot of publicity lately. They were on 60 Minutes, and then they were on the Circus.
Yep.
So it's pretty good seeing those guys getting out there. Pretty funny.
Well, I mean, they're doing a good job.
Yeah.
I mean, they must do how many? They must do one a day, right? I mean, every day you go looking for the latest one.
Yeah, they had the Regeneron commercial. It's good. Regeneron! Oh my God, it's so funny.
Well, did you hear about Regeneron was the antibody medicine that they have developed that they gave to Trump on an experimental basis. I can't remember what other company has a product pretty much just like it. Okay. the just like it, and they have stopped testing it because
Johnson and Johnson.
Johnson & Johnson, because there've been
Johnson & Johnson just pulled it because they had some, I don't know, I forget the phrase they used, but yeah, I think somebody died or something.
Yeah, I think they described it in a technical term, yucky stuff.
Yeah, something went bad.
Did somebody die? No, I don't think somebody died.
I don't know, but yeah, the phrase they used was pretty funny. But,
yeah. So,
how you rest those things.
How you doing, Bree? You have you voted yet?
No, I told you that I cannot because I moved.
Oh, I see.
And,
okay.
I don't get my old mail unless I want to have a fight.
So you can't vote because you're not getting along with somebody?
Well, but I told you the way that I will vote in this instance is, and by the way, I predicted that Trump would exactly what he would do, that he would go in, that he would come out and say he's 100% and it's not a big deal. If you go back, you'll find it in the records. But what I do is I find someone in the States who's not going to vote. They're definitely not going to vote. And I ask them, will you vote and take my vote so that I voted? And they will do that.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, I'd say I'd do it for you, but unfortunately, I know who you won't have me voting for. So
you don't know anything.
I really don't.
We don't want to know.
We don't want to know.
We're back under lockdown here, 2 weeks.
Really, it's gotten bad again.
Yeah, they had a special election in one of the states, and that sort of kicked up the dust, and now we're under 2 weeks lockdown again.
Oh, wow.
What does that mean? Are they a bunch of people together, or?
That's right. Well, it primarily means you don't go out unless you have a really good reason, and you have to have a letter unless you're going to the grocery store.
Sure, but I mean the spike from you said there was an election or something that they had a spike. So there's a bunch of people together, or just
there were people traveling. The politicians were traveling. In fact, the whole government is essentially quarantined right now. So,
now, Tony, isn't your place in Queens one of the hot spots?
I'm close to it, but me and Shecky, I think, just missed it right now.
No, Shecky says it's down the street.
Yeah, 2 blocks away.
Yeah.
2 blocks away or something like that. And some of the kids who go to the school across the street from him are from that area.
Oh, so that means that school's in jeopardy then.
Yeah. Yeah.
They said, Alex, I was reading, I don't know if it's accurate. My sister is a teacher. She heard that those hot spots, it's 10% testing positive.
No, it's...
is it higher?
No, it's about 5%, maybe a little less.
She thought she heard double digits.
No, it's not that high. No, but it's bad enough that it's causing the rest of the state to look bad.
Yeah.
But it's gotten bad enough that I'm afraid to go out again. I actually got on the exercise bicycle. What do they call it? The pantaloon? What is it?
Did you buy one?
Marjorie bought one. Yeah, Marjorie bought one. It's a monster. I mean, it's good. It's really good. But
I'm thinking about buying one too.
I used to have a bicycle, and I would take my bike out, and I would go out through the Presidio in San Francisco and out to the Golden Gate Bridge. That was my route, and then back again. And they have these videos, right, where you can pedal along to being in like Switzerland or France or someplace like that. And one of them is San Francisco, and it's my exact old route that I used to take. So,
You don't have a trainer yelling at you? Come on, old man, let's go!
I don't want to do that. I've looked at them, and they're just so, so, how can we call it? So gung-ho. Come on, we're going to do it. Just, come on, push through just a little. No, I just want to pedal, okay? Let me just pedal, and I'll speed up when I want to, and I'll slow down when I want to. Just leave me the fuck alone. So I don't want any of these yentas nudging me, you know, as I'm sitting there on the bike. I want it to be an enjoyable experience, not an annoying experience.
Marjorie does the trainer.
But
right?
here's the part that bothers me. Here's this company. What's the name of Pantaloon? What's the company? Peloton.
Peloton.
They have these things where you don't have to have the trainer, and you just can say, okay, France, okay, and then you want France for 10 minutes, you want France for 15 minutes, you want France for a half hour, and then it starts showing you on this really large screen that's there the road that you're riding down in France. And you go, hey, this is cool. So I think I'll speed up. But the video doesn't speed up.
Oh, really?
So no matter how fast I'm going, it's still going, you know. And I'm thinking, you know, come on, technologically, they should be able to somehow have something that goes to the speed of your of your pace. But no, it doesn't. So no matter how much I speed up, it's still the same speed. And also at a certain point, because I got to change cameras or something like that, it comes to like a statue, and then it stops. And I'm still pedaling along, and I feel like, come on, it's not moving. It's not moving. So that's the other thing that bothers me about it. The worst thing that bothers me about it is in certain pants, my ass really hurts from the seat. It's one of those bike seats, you know, one of those you know. And I just
You may want to buy another seat.
well, no, I have. She bought me a cushy seat I can put on there, but it kind of wobbles and stuff like that. So I'm finding with certain pants, if I wear them, I'll be okay. But here was the problem the other day. I have to get on the thing, right? I have to lift up to get onto the seat, and all of a sudden I come down and I squeeze my balls. and what's terrible about this is once you're on this thing, you're locked into it. You have these shoes that click into the pedals. Okay, so I got a cramp in my leg. I couldn't do anything about it. I had to just live with it and wait for it to get better. And when my balls started hurting, I couldn't get off the bike to take care of it, you know. And so I got my problems with this thing. It's not the best thing that ever happened to me. But I was doing a lot of walking and taking walks, and the other day I went and I was getting lightheaded because I'm beginning to find that the mask makes it difficult for me to really take a good fast walk because you're breathing through this and so I get lightheaded and so on. I was on the bike. I got lightheaded when I was on the bike the first day. The second day I didn't get lightheaded. So who knows? I think it's the medication that I take at night that's causing some of this. But anyway, enough of my problems with the Peloton. The only worst thing about the Peloton is it's just a stationary bike. You don't go anywhere with it, you know. And I always liked when I had a bike, getting on the bike and going somewhere, you know, and just seeing, hey, there's the bridge. Hi, bridge. Oh. You know, they're the seagulls. Hello, seagulls. Yeah. But anyway, so. What are you all doing for exercise? How about you, Charlie? You're an exercise kind of guy, aren't you?
I do my calisthenics, push-ups and sit-ups, and then I do 15 minutes on the exercise bike.
Oh, you have an exercise bike?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's terrific. Yeah. Shecky has a treadmill, but he doesn't use it that much, you know.
Yeah, he says he got bored of it, I think.
Yeah, he got bored of it. But I'll tell you something. As I say, I used to own a stationary bike, but then again, it wasn't meant to be that way.
Yeah. You just go into the gym a little bit.
I just never used it. Now, here's what happened with me a long time ago. Am I talking too much? A long time ago, I had the sponsor who made, but I'll tell you about the sponsor in a second. I bought a bike, and it was a really good bike, and I really enjoyed the bike, and I loved it, and I got on it, and I pedaled everywhere, and got my good sense of exercise from it, and it was terrific. I had a girlfriend who had a bike. She brought her bike over. We'd go biking together. It was wonderful. And then one day somebody stole my bike. So I had to go down to the store and buy another bike. The only trouble was the new bike didn't feel like the old bike. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And I just never used it. I just didn't like it. And then I had a sponsor. You remember these? You remember the Vermont teddy bears?
Yeah.
Well, that guy sold the company and started a new company called the Chicago Bicycle Company. And what he made with these old, like the old Schwinn style bikes with the balloon tires and everything, it was really cool, very cool. And I started riding that one around a little bit. But, then I was afraid that would really get stolen. So, I wasn't. But that's my life with bicycles. So.
Yeah, I made a gym because I got tired of waiting for the gym to reopen. So in the third car garage, I got a tower so I can do stuff, and then I just got the adjustable weights. So that's doing good. So, but we've been getting out over across the street doing some sports stuff over there, basketball and stuff like that. So that's been helping a lot too.
Well, Peloton also has video training. Marjorie does it. She has a Peloton, what do you call it, membership. You have to pay $39 a month. So with that, you also get to use the online thing, and she goes on and they have, crunches and a regular workout that you can do as well on the floor. So she's got a mat she puts down. Our house is turned into a gym. Okay, you come into our entryway and she's got all these weights and everything, and I'm going, gee, if I did that, you'd yell at me.
Well, I'm thinking about doing a light jog now. My niece started jogging, so since I can't go to the gym now, I'm actually thinking about just doing a light jog around the park.
Did you go to the gym, Tony?
I used to go to the gym like 2 or 3 times a week.
Really?
I was quite fit at one time. I was always a workout. I always kind of like to.
Did they have the appropriate wallpaper?
No. I like it, but because I miss playing basketball and stuff like that and football. So once you can get to a certain age and play anymore, your legs say that's enough.
Hey, listen, this guy, I got to tell you something about Tony, okay? I swear he's probably richer than any of us, okay? And here's the reason why. He sells comic books. Shecky told me the other day, you sold some comic book recently for how much? $200, $300?
Oh, I actually had 2 sales on Sunday, and I turned down 2 sales, Alex. I made $500 on Sunday, and I turned down 2 sales because
you mean you made $500 after turning down?
After turning down, there was 2. It was 4 different sales. I took 2, and I turned 2 others down.
Why'd you turn? Why? Wait a minute. And how much were they going to pay you?
Well, I had one of the items up for $300. He offered me $190, but I priced him higher. I says no. I had the book signed by an artist a long time ago, and I have it graded and encapsulated so it's authenticated. He's got to break $200.
Are you listening to this, guys? Are you listening to this? Sunday he made $500. Any of you make $500 last Sunday? No.
Yeah.
And then he's making a fortune keeping his mother sick. You what?
Shecky's good with the numbers because I told him what I was doing. Is that what I do? I'm kind of shrewd. What I do is now I have the comic account set up separately. So whenever I sell anything, I have a separate checking account so that I can wire the money into it. So then I would take my Vanguard and I have an account set up so that every first of the month I just take some of the money, I tell them, and they just wire it over to my index funds. So at least the comics is making me money.
Listen to this guy.
Yeah.
You thought he was a fucking idiot when we first knew him, right?
I am an idiot.
He hasn't
though.
remodeled the house since like 1950, so he's saving money there too.
We figured him for a complete moron. This guy is the mogul of comic books.
You know what it is? I'm very into my stuff. Like Shecky's into film. I'm into comics and music and books. I'm in my own
Yeah,
world.
but there's a difference between you and Shecky. Well, Shecky simply invests money. That's how he makes his fortune.
He's a very good investor.
He's very good at that. But the point is that that he has all these films,
Yeah.
but he doesn't sell them.
No, he's more of a. I think it's more of the love of a hobby. I have certain books.
Yeah, I mean,
won't
he
sell.
has this just incredible amount of films.
Yeah.
In fact, he and a friend started a film company so they could store the actual physical
That's interesting.
films. But the fact is that he doesn't like the idea of selling his films. Where you would sell off the entire collection.
No, I won't. As I told my niece already, there's certain items that I want to keep to give to my niece and my nephew, like old classic comics that I really treasure. I won't sell them. I know, like my first Wolverine, I won't sell that. My first X-Men, I won't sell that. My key issues of Spider-Man, which are graded, I'll pass those down. So they want to. I'll tell them what they're worth, and they can do what they want with them. You know.
Yeah, but sometimes you used to go out and buy 100 copies of something.
Oh yeah,
And then have the guy who did it sign all 100 copies. I don't know how you did that.
You know what I used to do at the shows? I was crazy at that. They thought I was nuts. Like one guy went out of business one time, and I had to be in my early 20s. And the guy, I felt bad. I went to the guy's store. He was on Skillman Avenue in Queens, and I knew the wife and him for a long time. And I hate to use the word, he wasn't the brightest guy. He says, "Tony, I'm going out." I says, "All right." I says, "You want to sell some books before you go on?" He says, "Yeah." He says, "I got a lot of books that I never really took out." I said, "You know what, Jerry?" I says, "I'll have my brother bring the car over. Tell me what day I can come over," because he was going out within 2 months. He brought up boxes, like long boxes. I said, "Well, just show me your Batman and Spider-Man, because I'm fanatical with that." It's all right. Oh my God, these books were never read. So I'm looking at them. So Jerry's like, I knew it completely.
And if they're never read, folks, they're mint, right?
But they were pretty much near mints, like 9 O's or better. So
Yeah.
I said, wow, they're going back from the early 80s. I said, late 70s. I says, you know what? I started looking. I said, you know what, Jerry? I says, I'll just take the whole box because I already knew what I had. He said, well, how much you want to give me for them? I says, well, you name me a price. I says, you got about 100 books in there. I says, Tom, I'll give you $1 a piece. He says, all right. So he didn't think I had the money. I went to the car, took the money off from my brother. I said, don't negotiate. And I just walked out with like 5 long boxes that I never even graded yet. I must have took like 500 books out for $500. Alex, they got to be worth about, I don't even know how much now. Because like an introductions, they were never read. And this was before I would just snap up. I wanted to get them cheaper actually, but I said, let me not be greedy. The back of my mind said, just take him and get the hell out of here. I said. Then I actually was taking his little books, like old rock.
And then you tell me,
All right, Jerry, throw these in.
When I sell these things, they send it to my account, and then the account automatically puts it into my Vanguard. What?
Yeah.
You're no moron.
No, I'm not. I guess I'm not. I was always in my own little thing, though. Yeah, I love.
What got it for me is when you said the Vanguard part of it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean that you weren't just taking the money and putting it in the bank
No,
and
I
getting
actually
their
had my account, yeah.
dingy little percentage. You know, no, it was
But I have a certain
automatic.
percent that I kick in, so I don't have to see it.
Yeah.
They call me up. You want to put more in? I says, no, I'll tell you when I want to put more in. Don't call me up. My mother's over here driving me nuts. Because sometimes they do the call, would you like to put more in on the first of the month? I says, no, I'll call you when I want to put more in. Don't call me.
Do you have a will?
No, I don't.
Oh, well, why don't you write one up and put me in
I
it?
told Shecky if I get hit by a car, he's got my
6 of
car.
us.
Put our names on it.
I
Yeah.
said, if I get hit by the car, I got something, Alex. I have stuff for you and him. I really do, actually. I said, if I get hit with cancer, I have a movie poster for him already. I said, you can do whatever you want with it.
You have a movie poster for me if you get cancer?
Well, actually, Shecky.
Oh, Shecky.
I'm giving him the Godfather poster signed by the cast. I told him that already.
What?
Oh,
I have it. Yeah, I have Brando on it.
How much is that worth?
You want me to get it?
No.
yeah.
I
I'll pick it up.
What?
I have to go to the basement for it.
No. You don't have to get it. We believe you.
My brother actually bought that for me. He was in Vegas with one of his girlfriends, and he was in he went out for the fight. He says, it's a reprint of the movie when they re-released it, but it's actually the signatures of the...
They're all real. They're all real.
Brando, Pacino, and I got Coppola on the fucking thing.
How much is that worth?
I don't even know. I'd have to get it. It's authenticated. I don't even know. I don't even know what he paid for. He wouldn't even tell me. He brought that home. It flew it back. I was almost threw up. And he spoils me. He's, look what I got you. You know what I said? Is that original post? He said, no, it's a fucking reprint. What do you want? Everything but the cast signed it. It's all taken.
Is it authenticated? Did you see it's authenticated?
I have to authenticate it, but where he bought it from, it's real. Because the guy I know who he bought it from.
But I mean, there are guys who can authenticate a signature and so on.
They would charge me per signature, but I know it's legit. Brando signed it in gold. I was like, I stare at his signature. I was like, oh.
Because I'll tell you, I have a show that, I was talking the other day about certain guilty pleasures I have that I don't admit to. Mm-hmm. All right. And I have a show that I watch every time it's on. Pawn Stars.
Oh, I watch that too. When they come in with, I like that. I enjoy that.
And with signatures, they got these guys that come in and we have a signature. He looks at it and goes, nah, this was done by a machine. They can tell, by looking at it.
Legit, Alex? You think it was staged?
What?
You think that's when they do that? Is that staged? You think
it is?
Oh, a lot of it is staged. Yeah. But I still like it. I mean, I used to like Antiques Roadshow.
I said it's probably real. I said don't sell for that.
I liked Antiques Roadshow for the same reason.
I used to watch that too on PBS.
1 week, I think it was 2 years ago or something. I think they actually estimated that something was worth the most money that anybody ever brought into an Antiques Roadshow. It was like a half $1,000,000 or something. I can't remember what it was.
The watch.
Was it a watch?
Yeah, it was a watch that this guy had. It was like Aqua Rolex or something, and
yes,
he was so blown away that he fell down. He was a veteran, if I remember.
Yeah, this wasn't a watch that was owned by Paul Newman, was it? No.
Could have been, but I can't remember.
Yeah, but the guy was really.
But it was worth like $700,000.
Didn't he almost pass out when they told him?
He fell down.
Yeah. That was on Antiques Roadshow. And Antiques Roadshow is the fancy version of Pawn Stars.
Yeah, I like them both. I eat that up when I watch.
What is that worth? Something?
There we go.
I don't know. I've been going through my shed, so I've been bored. So I went through my shed and I got a bunch of my car parts that, my other cars that I built, I took off tail lights and all this stuff. So I started selling this stuff, and man, I found some guys that bought most of it. And then I had some of this other stuff real sterling and real heavy. So I've been investigating to see if it's worth, $100.
When cells were big, cartoon cells.
Oh yeah, you had Warner Brothers, didn't you, Alex?
Well, no. Well, what happened was, in the beginning, people would, who was it? Oh, I was talking to. I remember who it was. What's her name? Karen Babbitt. Now, her father was Art Babbitt, and Art Babbitt was one of the original old men at Disney. He did the mushroom dance in Fantasia. Okay, and he also did. Who did he do in Snow White? He didn't do. Did he do the witch? I think he did. Maybe did the witch. I'm not sure. But anyway, Karen's father was Art Babbitt, and Babbitt would. These guys, when they finished making a film, they take home just carloads of these cells, and eventually they'd think about throwing them out in the garbage because they didn't know what to do with them. Mm-hmm. If they had held on to them, they would have been worth a lot of money. And nobody cared. In fact, this is how much Disney cared about them. During World War II, there was a shortage of cellophane, so they simply took turpentine and took all the paint off of them and reused them to make more cartoons. All right? So she said, when my father, he and his wife broke up, her mother broke up, but when he died, we went looking to see if there were any of these cells in the house, and he didn't collect any of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But she said we were looking everywhere for them, So.
She's a comedian, right?
Yeah, she's a comedian.
5105. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember her.
And Art Babbitt was the guy who started the strike against Disney back in, I think it was pre-war, was it? I can't remember when but he was pretty well banned from Disney. Although Disney couldn't fire him for some reason, but eventually he left and just went somewhere else and did a lot of other work. But he was a marvelous, marvelous animator.
Not very long.
But these cells, nobody thought anything of them. And then all of a sudden, one day in like the 60s, became a big deal to have these cells. And they were lying around like crazy. You know, all you had to do was find one of these animators. He probably had them up in the attic.
You know, Alex, it's something you said a while back when you were talking about collecting.
Yeah.
I think you said it like it's more like a passion from when you love like reading something. I'm being honest, when you're a kid, I never really thought of it in a monetary sense. I just loved like to collect all that old stuff. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like one day, you could have a big collection. I don't, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I'll tell you what I got over there. I got two things. I got a Mickey Mouse cell. But what it is it's rare in that it was the only time that Mickey Mouse ever did an ad on television. He did it for Fanta in Europe. They drew him for Fanta in Europe, and that's a cell from the ad. Mm-hmm. And then next to it, I have, and some guy came in one day. He says, "I love your show so much. Here, I want you to have this. I have two of them. I want you to have one." And it's the Frito Bandito. Do you remember the Frito Bandito?
Yeah. Frito Bandito.
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah, and that was done by the greatest animator probably of all time, who was over at MGM. Man, hold on a second. I'll come up with the name in a minute. He did, Red Hot Riding Hood, and cartoons like that. Chuck Avery. Chuck Avery? No, Avery. I'll remember his name in a minute. But he did that, the Frito Bandito. So I don't know, that may be worth something. And then over here, I have right in back of me, Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, I love Ren and Stimpy.
Done by the artist.
Really? That's nice.
Yeah, in pencil. In pencil. It's a pencil.
That's nice. That's original.
Yeah, and these were all people that liked me, liked my show, and would say, get me stuff and send me stuff. And I'm going,
That's pretty cool, though. Like Alex, did you know the other guy, that underground artist? I forgot his name. You mentioned him. He was odd, like Harvey Picard. Did you know
Harvey Picard? I didn't know Harvey Picard, no.
Oh, okay, there was somebody else then, maybe.
Harvey Picard is great.
Yeah, I thought maybe it's somebody else I'm confusing with. I remember you mentioning his name.
Yeah. And then who was the guy who did Keep On Trucking?
Was that Picard or no?
No, that was...
Trucking.
Huh?
Keep on trucking.
What?
I know the song.
No, but Trucking... oh, God. He used to have
Christopherson.
He used to have a black female cartoon character because he loved black women. And she was big and heavy and buxom, and she was black. Okay? And the name of the cartoon character was Angel Food McSpade.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember his name. They did a documentary on him, and at the end they said he had died. But he never did die. He just wanted that put into the documentary so nobody would bother him.
I like that,
Yeah.
Tom Yamaguchi says Tex Avery.
Tex Avery. Yeah. Okay. Now, Tom, who is the R. Crumb? He just put it up there. R. Crumb. Yeah. Yes, R. Crumb. So, anyway, gee, we haven't talked about Trump tonight. That's good. That's good.
He's on the campaign trail.
No reason to talk about him. I think he's going to be gone after. Yeah, I mean, this time it's not like last time where we went, oh, how's he going to win? This time it does not look good for him. He's losing.
Looks very good.
Huh?
Really?
He's not going to win the popular vote. Don't get caught up on that.
Yeah.
But Wisconsin is going to be very important, and he just got a major victory there. no mail-in votes will be accepted after the election day. That's going to be huge. And I think he could probably win Wisconsin as a result of that. And I think it's
well. What you're going to do is you're going to have the Democrats knocking on doors and saying, "Mail it in now."
Yeah.
It's postmarked, they'll accept it, right?
Well, if it's postmarked,
Bree?
I'm not sure. I think that has to arrive, and that's going to be the key. And Alex, you and I have both said it. The night of the election, it's going to appear to be very red and Trump. The next day, he's going to say, "I got it. I won it. It's all done. All right, now let's get back to the business of helping the people." And Biden will say some things, and they'll be saying, "No, that it's already done. Anything from this point on, the Democrats are trying to steal it. So I'm sending in the guards and police, whatever we have to do to stop this counting, because it's just not going to get us anywhere."
Okay.
I have won. It is clear. End of story. Let's move on.
Wisconsin will mail all.
And then he's going to say, "Let's go to the Supreme Court about it."
He's going to lose Texas, and it's going to be game over. It won't matter about Wisconsin. It won't matter about Pennsylvania. It won't matter about Ohio, because he's going to fucking lose Texas.
Well, Wisconsin, it says Wisconsin will mail all registered voters an application to vote absentee prior to the election. You fill out the application completely, submit the request to your local election office. You should request your ballot as far in advance of the election as possible. The deadline to request a ballot by mail must be received by Thursday, October 29th. When your ballot arrives, read it carefully, follow the instructions, and complete it and return it. Your ballot must be received by Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020 by 8 p.m. And you can find ballot tracking information, and then it says here, wherever that is. Yeah, I looked at it. What?
And early voting in Texas is up 33%.
Oh, that's bad for him.
That is all bad for Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, can all the polls be wrong? I can't see it.
Can all the
I'm telling you,
polls?
he's going to lose 40 states. I'm holding to that.
I'm going to write that down, Charlie. Remember, he called it, Charlie. He's been calling it all along.
Yeah.
Even if he
You're
loses,
right, Charlie.
even if he loses by a landslide, is he still going to contest it?
Could he really, though? It's that wide.
I don't think it's going to be a landslide. I think that's wishful thinking. I think what will happen is it's in the area of the Electoral College, wherever those states are. Let's say that he comes up 5 Electoral College votes short. Then it's in those. However he can get to those 5, that's where he's going to contest those, and he'll fly to those places, hold rallies, and say we need to get to the bottom of this, and it's illegitimate. One of the things is that Biden has sort of added fuel to the fire. He said that the only way he can lose is if there's chicanery at the polls. So he's automatically gearing, again, they're both gearing people up to say this is illegitimate. Kamala Harris has actually used those terms when describing Amy Coney Barrett's ascension to the Supreme Court. She said it's reckless and illegitimate. So this basically what's happening is the very foundations of our democracy are being questioned, effectively so. And the media benefits from it. So I think this is going to continue.
Let me ask you this. Did anybody ask Amy Coney Barrett today, and I didn't hear it because I didn't hear every minute of it, how she felt about the idea of whether a Supreme Court justice can be approved and put on the bench during an election year? And was the decision by the Republicans early on a bad decision, a wrong decision from a legal standpoint? I don't think anybody asked her that question, did they?
I don't.
If what?
Anybody ask her the question of the legitimacy of saying that you can't, that they did 4 years ago by saying you can't appoint somebody to the Supreme Court in the last year before an election, okay, for president. And then they, of course, turned it all around this time, having their excuse being, yeah, but we have the majority. Well, that's no excuse. Yeah. That's no excuse. But did anybody ask her about the legitimacy of that?
Not that I'm aware of.
I think somebody said something about it, but it was about Lincoln. Because remember, Lincoln decided not to do it when he was about to be president second time.
Yeah, yeah.
And he said, I'm gonna wait until I win.
You know, initially in his second term, he didn't run as a Republican. He was part of the Union
I didn't know.
Party, I think it was called. And then just within a month or so of the election, the Republicans just dumped Sherman, who was their nominee.
Their guy.
Yeah, because they didn't like what he did during the war. And so they asked Lincoln if he would run as a Republican as well. And so he did, and of course he won. But when they keep talking about how, he was a Republican, well, he was a Republican, but whatever a Republican was at that time, so.
Well,
Okay,
it
I'm
was
officially able
interesting
to leave my other Zoom meeting.
Hmm?
I was on call, but nobody came in, so.
What do you mean you were on call for business?
No, just for consultations.
Oh, I see. What is that, your I'm running for president picture up there?
Yeah. I'm running for Senate. I'm running for the Senate.
Is that
Is
that your I'm a professor picture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Biden's been saying he's running for the Senate, right?
Biden?
I mean, it's really, really unbelievable, the situation that we're in. And I think we've determined the flaw in our system. The flaw is the presidency, the executive branch. And the flaw is that we just can't get it right. And the system.
Well, wait a minute. What are you saying that Biden said?
Oh, he's running for Senate. He said it 3 times now.
I haven't heard it.
Look it up.
I haven't heard it.
He has said it.
Okay, hold on a
Look
second.
it up. Biden running for the Senate? It's unbelievable. And his gaffes are numerous, but they don't get reported a lot. But
Trump is actually lying. I don't give a fuck about gaffes. Trump is actually lying. He's got Fauci up there using quotes that he said for some completely different person, different organization. Trump is saying like Fauci's saying that about him.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I think, supposedly it says here that President Barack Obama's, he did say he was running for Senate.
He said 3 times.
So he screws up. Wait a minute. Is that enough reason that he shouldn't be president of the United States? Now, is it enough reason that Trump shouldn't be president of the United States because he lied to the American public about the coronavirus, is responsible for maybe 210,000 American deaths that could have been prevented, that he did this, he did that. I mean, we have all these. So if 3 times Biden said that he was running for the Senate, so fucking what?
Here's who I'm voting for. In case you didn't see Richard Brewster's Millions with Richard Pryor.
Of course, none of the above. Right.
That's, it's amazing how many people will come out and say, and the other thing is, I really don't, I agree with a lot of people. I think Pence and Harris are who we should be looking at, because I think they're going to be coming into command. So are you happy right now that Kamala Harris would become president?
Yes.
I am.
Yeah.
You think she's qualified?
Yes.
You think she's qualified?
Yes.
Not
more. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Not more qualified than Biden.
Not according to Democrats.
Well, not more than Biden, because Biden's had much more experience than she's had. But I wouldn't go feel confident with Pence because he's part of the cabal that's been running the country now. So I wouldn't go for him. I think she's capable of running the country. Yeah, sure.
The Democrats don't think so.
Well, I'm a Democrat, and I think so.
Democrats don't think so.
Are you a Democrat,
because we
Charlie?
Had a process. We had a fair and legitimate process, and she got kicked out very early on. She didn't even make it to the second base. She barely got a single.
Right.
And now she could be the leader of the free world.
So what?
She could be the leader of the free world. I like her. And I think that she's a great public servant.
And Pence,
I don't think she's ready for the presidency.
Well, who's ready for the presidency? Okay?
None of the above right now.
I'll tell you who's ready for the presidency. Two people were... Hillary was ready for the presidency because of all the posts she had held. And Biden is very much has that ability because he was working very closely with the president, knows what it's like to be the president. Yes, Charlie?
Al Gore.
Yeah, Bree's using a Republican talking point. The logic is
just logic.
Because just because you refer one person to another person doesn't mean that you believe that other person isn't capable of doing the job. Just because I prefer Bernie Sanders over Joe Biden does not mean I think that Joe Biden can't do the job.
Yeah.
And that's all they did in the primary was say who you prefer the most.
Yeah.
It will work
but
together, not like
in
Trump.
which case,
Trump
if
does
he had
his own
picked
thing.
Elizabeth Warren.
Well, isn't it nice, Charlie, that even though you didn't get the guy you wanted, you got a guy you can live with?
Yeah.
You know?
And I could live with Kamala Harris.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, you know, how many people are ready to be president? Certainly Trump wasn't ready to be president. He hadn't even been in political office. He didn't know how to...
At the same time,
he didn't know how to
I'll
do
throw
it.
you a bone. I don't think Amy Coney Barrett is the best person for the Supreme Court.
Oh, no.
And yet that's what we get. So, you know, we have a flawed system. Who was it? Sherman that said, "If nominated, I will not run. If elected, I will not serve." That's the person I want. There's so many people out there that are capable, and we don't.
You want somebody who does the job kicking and screaming? Is that what you want? Yes. Yes, Brian.
As I've always said, though, Trump does his own thing, doesn't listen to anybody. At least the Democrats, whoever's in there, I don't care who's in there, they will listen to their people. They'll listen to the experts. And Trump doesn't. Trump just does what he wants to in revenge, and you have to be loyal or he'll get you out of there. And the Democrats are not like that.
Sometimes the Democrats listen so much to experts that they just get confusing. And another thing is this. One thing that is true that that I keep coming back to is there was a panel of governors who were talking to Trump about I think wildfires in California. And one of the governors said, "We're going to listen to science. We're going to listen to science." And Trump said something to the effect of, "I'm not sure that science knows." And he has a point there. I know it's flippant, but we still don't know what COVID-19 really is. We don't know the kinds of ways it affects our body. We don't know how you can protect from it. We don't know if you can get reinfected.
But we're certainly not going to find out from Donald Trump working in his basement in his little lab. I don't see any degree on his wall. Maybe there's one from Wharton, but there certainly isn't one saying that he's a doctor of science.
The thing is you got to focus on what's getting done. And what's happening is the Republicans use him as a lightning rod. They let him cause all the media storm, and then they're doing their business behind the scenes. And most people focus on what Trump says, when in fact, it's not policy and it doesn't even get enacted. It's just media fluff, and everybody goes for the media fluff. And that's what we have happening.
Listen, I got to tell you, the press is like, I had a dog once named Kipper. He wasn't the brightest dog in the world. And I could throw a ball, and Kipper would go chase the ball and then bring it back to me, and then I would throw it again, and he would go chase the ball and bring it back to me. And then the next time I would just pretend to throw it, and he'd go chase the ball anyway. That's pretty much the press when it comes to Donald Trump. I could do that all the time to Kipper, and he wouldn't remember the last time that I hadn't thrown the ball. Okay?
Yeah, except there are 10 million people watching that ball, and 5 million of them are going along with Kipper.
Kipper. Yeah, well, the thing is, the point I'm making is that the press has they're so stupid in the way they let this guy play him. The way this guy plays.
That's how he became president.
Yeah. But it's not working as well this time, because this time they're just mad at what happened the first time, and they're just all out to get him, except for like Fox and, and even Fox isn't that hot about him. And his old pal Drudge, forget it. Drudge is writing nothing but nasty shit about him. So
well, we'll see. I think that we'll see. We have,
it's going to be a messy couple of weeks. Okay, after the election, it's going to be a messy couple of weeks. But when the dust clears, Biden's going to be president, and we're going to have to take Trump out of the White House kicking and screaming. So
I think there will be a lot of things that are going to happen, but in November around the world, not just in the States. There's going to be a lot of.
Well, better happen really early in November, because November 3rd's the election.
Yeah, agree with you.
And I think that as long as that election is unsettled, the world is going to be topsy-turvy.
Well, the world is topsy-turvy. I mean, already, certain countries are closing down again, really locking down. You say yours is in Kuala Lumpur. Yeah. What did I read the other day? I think Italy has completely shut down. England is shutting down. They're all seeing this second wave.
Shut down.
What?
The U.S. just shut down. We have the worst cases going on anywhere in the world.
Yeah, but we haven't. Our problem is we haven't shut down. Yeah. We haven't done anything to mitigate this whole thing. And that's bad. Okay, I mean, we didn't learn, But it's just if everybody would just wear a goddamn mask, it's that simple. I mean, we had doctors who were saying, when asked the question, "What would you rather have, a vaccine or wear a mask?" and they say, "I'd rather wear a mask." The vaccine's only 50% effective. A mask is 90% effective. What are you doing that for? Oh, there she is.
Uh-huh.
She knows just when to come in, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She tries to sneak in earlier, and she tries to sneak under my chair.
So how's school going, Adrian? Good?
Do you know who the president of the United States is? Who's the president?
He knows when
he's on.
He knows when he's on. She knows Daddy doesn't like him.
Yeah. I'm afraid of the adjectives.
You indoctrinating her early there, Brian.
Yeah, the problem with kids in the house is you can't yell adjectives at your TV screen.
No, she was playing a game and she died on Roblox, and she came over to me. She goes, "Shit." That's
What's that?
Oh, isn't that cute? She said her first curse word. Isn't that cute? Yeah. Oh boy. Well, anyway, I'm gonna play a thing. Okay, it's all right. You can do anything you want to. The show's over now, and I'm gonna play a theme song. Oh, this thing takes a while to start. Now I have to reboot it. Anyway, hey, thank you all. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Adrian. Also, thank your daddy for me, will you? Yeah, good night. And of course,
good afternoon, depending where you are in the world.
Charlie, and Bree is in Kuala Lumpur. That's a way, way away. Yeah. And of course, Tony is in Queens, and that's even further away than Kuala Lumpur, if you're in Kuala Lumpur. And what is that? I have no idea.
Oh, these are just little Malaysian cartoon characters.
Oh, nothing. That's every reason to vote. Go to Kuala Lumpur. Anyway, everybody, give a big wave goodbye, and I will give a big wave goodbye back at you. There we go. There they go. And that's our citizen panel for tonight. They were terrific. It was a nice night tonight. Just talking about comic books and crap like that. Anyway, listen, that's it for tonight. I will be back again tomorrow night. You stay tuned for Jack Bishop. He's next with The Intersection. He'll be taking a citizen panel as well. And then we'll be back again tomorrow night. We have the sports show on at 8:30 Eastern Daylight Time. It goes till 9:30. Then there's nothing for about for an hour, and then I come back at 10:30 Eastern Daylight Time with the Ramble. And in the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her. And additionally, be safe out there and wear a mask, please. Okay? Good night, everybody.